The medical wing of the Human Research Station went unnervingly quiet as a massive Krithian warship pierced Earth's atmosphere. Warning lights dimmed, and the hum of machinery seemed to hold its breath. Dr. Mia Chen stood beside a compact cryostasis pod, her palm resting gently against its clear surface. Inside lay Zelther, a young Krithian who had crash-landed on Earth 3 months earlier. Across the room, Kevin Martinez leaned over the communications console, his jaw clenched. "They're here," he said quietly. As the station's chief diplomatic officer, Kevin had spent weeks negotiating this meeting, but no amount of preparation eased the tension tightening his chest. The Krithians were ancient, battle-hardened, and deeply traditional. Forgiveness was rare. Forgetting was unheard of. Mia gazed down at the small alien form suspended in stasis. Zelther had been barely alive when the recovery team pulled him from the burning wreckage of his patrol ship. A mechanical failure had sent the vessel spiraling helplessly into Earth's gravity. He was just a child, despite the crystalline scales and reptilian features, his body was fragile, broken, and badly burned. "Mia, you should step away," Kevin urged, approaching her. "When they see him like this, we don't know how they'll react." She shook her head firmly. "I'm not leaving him. Not now." With a sharp hiss, the docking bay doors opened. Heavy footsteps echoed through the corridor, slow and deliberate. 5 Krithians entered the station, each towering nearly 8 feet tall, armored bodies moving with a predator's grace. At their center walked Commander Velker, Zelther's mother. The doors to the medical bay slid apart. Velker's 3 eyes locked instantly onto the cryopod. Her emerald scales rippled violently, flashing streaks of crimson grief and obsidian fury. The translator embedded at her throat crackled to life. "You preserved my son's body," she rumbled, her voice vibrating through the floor. "This is acceptable. We will perform the death rites here and return him to the stars." Kevin stepped forward, drawing on every ounce of diplomatic training. "Commander Velker, with respect, there is something you must understand." "There is nothing to understand, human," Velker snapped. Her guards shifted closer. "My cub is dead. You found him, and for that, we acknowledge a debt. But our purpose here is complete." Then Mia spoke, her voice steady but sharp. "He's not dead." The room froze. Every Krithian eye turned toward the small human doctor who had dared contradict their commander. The air felt charged, dangerous. "Explain," Velker demanded, one clawed hand drifting toward the plasma weapon at her side. Mia inhaled slowly and activated the console beside the cryopod. A holographic display burst to life, filling the air with streams of medical data, neural activity, cellular regeneration, heart rhythms. "When we found Zelther," Mia began, "he was clinically dead by both human and Krithian standards. His hearts had stopped. Neural activity was non-existent. His body temperature had dropped below survivable levels." "Then how does he still exist?" one of the guards growled. "We refuse to give up," Kevin said firmly. Mia continued, her fingers moving swiftly across the controls. "We studied everything available on Krithian biology, military archives, medical fragments, xenobiology databases. Your physiology is built on crystal carbon matrices, completely different from ours. But we found similarities in communication patterns, how cells signal, how neural pathways form." The hologram shifted, displaying a 3-dimensional map of Zelther's body. Tiny points of light pulsed throughout the image. "We created microscopic nanomachines capable of interfacing with Krithian cellular structures. It took 6 weeks just to design a prototype his immune system wouldn't reject." Velker stepped closer, her scales shifting to a deep blue of confusion. "But the mourning period passed. We felt his consciousness fade through the quantum link." "The link was severed by trauma," Mia said gently. "But we rebuilt it, connection by connection. The nanites acted as temporary bridges while his nervous system regenerated." Silence filled the room. "Commander," Mia finished softly, "your son is alive." As if responding to her words, the monitors spiked. Zelther's primary heart rate increased. His internal temperature rose steadily. Kevin pulled up another display. We kept him in suspension to give his body time to heal. The nanites repaired cellular damage, reconnected neural pathways, even rebuilt his respiratory membranes. We were waiting for you, hoping you'd arrive before we tried to wake him. Velker pressed her massive hand against the cryopod's surface. Beneath the glass, Zelther's chest rose and fell, slow, steady, alive. Why? She whispered. Why would you do this for a child not of your species? Mia's eyes glistened as she answered. Because that's who we are. She swallowed and continued. We see someone suffering, someone dying, and we can't walk away. It doesn't matter if they have scales or skin, one heart or two, come from Earth or a star we can't pronounce. A child needed help, and we had the ability to try. That was enough, Kevin added. Humanity has made countless mistakes. But we have this stubborn refusal to accept death when there's even the smallest chance at life. Velker turned fully toward them. For the first time, her rigid stance softened. Her scales shifted into hues the translators couldn't name, deep purples, warm golds, emotions beyond language. Wake him, she said quietly. Please. Mia nodded and initiated the revival sequence. The cryopod's temperature slowly increased as sedatives metabolized out of Zelther's system. Minutes stretched endlessly as they watched the monitors. Then, slowly, 3 small eyes opened. At first unfocused, they drifted across the ceiling before settling on the towering figure beside him. Recognition flared. A soft sound escaped his throat. Mother, the translator rendered, though it could never fully capture the emotion behind the word. Velker broke. The legendary commander, conqueror of worlds, pressed her forehead to the cryopod and wept openly. Kevin and Mia stepped back, granting the family their moment. As they reached the doorway, Kevin whispered, "Think this changes things?" Mia watched the Crithians gather around the pod, their scales glowing with awe. "I think it changes everything." Velker called out, stopping them. "Humans," she said. "The Crithian Empire does not forget debts, or allies." She placed a hand over her primary heart, a gesture of profound respect. "You have shown us a truth we believed existed only in legend." As the medical team carefully prepared Zelther for removal from the cryopod, Velker continued, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "You asked why you should save my son," she said. "Perhaps the better question is how we ever doubted a species capable of such compassion." Kevin glanced at Mia, a small smile forming. "You realize this means we'll be getting a lot more alien patients." Mia laughed softly. "Good. Let them come." She looked around the medical bay, once filled with fear, now alive with wonder. Let the galaxy learn what humanity really is. Not conquerors. Not warriors. Just people who refuse to let death win when there's still hope. Zelther's recovery would take months, but he would survive. And the story of the humans who refused to abandon an alien child spread quickly across the stars, reshaping perceptions, forging alliances, and proving that sometimes the greatest victories aren't won through weapons or power. They're won through care. The Crithians had arrived to reclaim a lifeless body. Instead, they discovered the beating heart of humanity's greatest strength, the unwavering belief that every life deserves a chance to continue.